Welcome to Cape Henlopen High School for today's softball game between the second-ranked and undefeated Vikings and the ninth-ranked Smyrna Eagles. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Glenn Fraser alongside Shannon Timmons with Benny Mitchell producing. The Vikings remain unbeaten with 3 wins last week to improve to 15-0 with just 2 games left on the regular season schedule after today. They came from behind to knock off number 4 Caravel for the program's first win over the Bucks in more than 20 years on Saturday. Down 4-1 in the 6th, the Vikings tied the game on RBI hits from Olivia Hears and Hayden Hudson, and then Ava Calciano walked it off with a 3-run blast in the bottom of the 7th for the 7-4 win. Let me bring in my broadcast partner, Shannon Timmons. A solid win for Cape on Saturday, but today they cannot get caught looking past Smyrna as the Henlopen North title will be on the line Thursday at Polytech.
Yeah, agreed. Here's another great Henlopen North matchup and a lot of history between these two teams. We thought, in talking with Mike Tack earlier, close to the spring break, that he said the toughest games for his team were yet to come, and they seem to be handling that so far. I won't say with ease, but pretty handily. You know, they're getting the timely hits, they're getting base runners on when they need them, and they're coming out with these wins. Although they're coming from behind in a lot of these scenarios, they are coming out with these wins. So their team seems to be handling that okay, and we'll see what happens today with a feisty Smyrna team, and see if they can keep things rolling.
The Eagles had a 3-game winning streak snapped at home last week. You saw it right here on 302 Sports as they fell to top-ranked Lake Forest 8-0. It was close through the first 3 innings before Lake put 4 runs on the board in the 4th to take control. Lexi Dennis pitched well against the undefeated Spartans. Now, Shannon, the Eagles, I think, really have to muster some offense today if they're going to stay with Cape Henlopen.
They do, and what they just have struggled to do at times is to string hits together. They get hits, but they leave a lot of runners stranded. So I think if they're going to stand a chance today against this Cape Henlopen team of, a lot of seniors, there's a lot of experience on this Cape team, and I think if they're going to stand a chance, they're going to have that not only timely hitting, but they're going to have to string things together and be able to plate runs early and get out to a lead and maybe sustain a lead through a couple of innings to stand a chance here today. Cape's just got an all-around team. We say this about Lake Forest as well. And I think the difference between a Lake team and a Cape team just happens in the circle. Kara Sumter's just such a strong pitcher, and that's not to take anything away from Abby Marsh, but I would have to give Sumter the nod in just the mix of pitches and the speed over Marsh. But both are really, really doing well right now and peaking as they head towards tournament season.
It's Teacher Appreciation Day here at Cape Henlopen High School, as some of the teachers now will be escorted out onto the field by Viking players. They are being honored here before the game with Smyrna, Delaware. Let's take a look at our top 10 coming into the week. Lake Forest at number 1. They had a game with St. George's Tech yesterday. Not sure the final on that one. They're playing Woodbridge today. They finish at Laurel, and a home game with Milford Buccaneers. Cape Henlopen is at Polytech on Thursday for the Henlopen North title. They finish here at home against Padua. Apo ranked 3rd. They have Caravel today. Then they finish with Odessa, a tough St. Mark's team, Newark Charter, and they finish with Smyrna. Ranked number 4, Caravel. As we mentioned, they have Apo on the road. Then they go to Conrad, Indian River, and finish with Sussex Academy. At number 5, it's Polytech. They are at Dover today. They have Cape Thursday, and then they finish with Charter School of Wilmington, St. George's Tech, Redline Christian Academy, Delmarva Christian. They have quite a few games left. St. Mark's comes in at number 6. The Spartans have won 8 straight, and they will finish with Ursuline, Charter School of Wilmington. They're at Apo later in the week, then Sussex Central, St. George's, and Indian River. At number 7, it's Delmar, then Sussex Academy, both at 10 and 4. The Smyrna Eagles ranked 9th at 7 and 6, and then DMA ranked number 10 at 8 and 5. That's our top 10. So still some pretty big ball games coming up in the final 2 weeks of the regular season, Shannon.
Yeah, and Glenn, that Lake Forest St. George's game yesterday, that score came in late, but Lake did defeat them 11-2.
Okay.
So Lake would remain undefeated at this point with that win.
15-0 then for the Spartans.
And again, when we look at the tournament and how things get scheduled and how things play out, You know, it's always an interesting time of year when they go to seed these teams. No longer do you have to have a 500 record to be considered, but they look at your opponent's record and they double it and they get a point index for that. They look at your record, they divide your wins and losses, and they get a point index for that. They add the two together, they divide by 3. It's quite an algebraic equation, Glenn, to even figure out what seed you become. Strength of schedule certainly is going to help some of these teams. So you may look at, you know, a Caravel who doesn't have as many wins as some of these undefeated teams, but if they have played a stronger strength of schedule, they may pull a higher seed. We typically see that with some of those independent schools that are not tied to a conference, where if you're in the Henlopen Conference or Appoquinimink, say, in the Blue Hen Conference, you have more games to play and you're tied to a schedule where Caravel kind of has more freedom to play some out-of-state teams. We've seen them play considerable amount of Maryland teams this year. Typically, they're New Jersey schools. This year, they've been heavily laden with Maryland schools. So it just kind of depends on those teams' schedules and their win-loss records, as well as how that particular team does. So it will be interesting to see how this all plays out and how teams get seeded into the tournament. But first today, Smyrna and Cape have to take care of business.
Yeah, Smyrna team that if they lose today will be 500 at 7-7. But again, strength of schedule. They have played quite a competitive schedule this year. And I tell you what, in my own opinion, I'm not sure I totally agree with going completely by a point index. I think there should be some eye test that goes along with it as well, but that's only my opinion.
And, you know, the Henlopen Conference decided years ago to take an average of your schedule and cross over. So if you're in the Henlopen North, like these two teams are, they would cross over based on their average. Where did they fall? Did they fall in the top 4 or the bottom 4 of the North? They only cross over and play the South teams that are either in the top 4 or the bottom 4. So Cape right now sits in the bottom 4 of the Henlopen North. They cross over to play the bottom 4 of the South. So they play teams like Seaford, Woodbridge, Sussex Academy, where Smyrna still sits in the Henlopen North top 4. They cross over to play teams like Indian River and Delmar. Delmar's having a great season, right? So Smyrna's, you know, point index could be a little bit higher than one would imagine at a 500 record. It is very interesting how all this plays out, where you just look at an undefeated team like Lake or Cape and be like, well, they're undefeated, right? It only makes sense. They would pull higher seeds. Not necessarily so, Glenn. It really gets interesting this time of year. And for coaches scheduling non-conference games, you really have to be particular about who you're picking and looking at, did they lose a senior pitcher? What's coming through the pipeline in their program? And how do we think they're going to play out this year? And it really does become quite a formula to try to mastermind and be creative with the best schedule possible to help you thinking all the way towards tournament time.
Two teams are just to be about ready to get underway here. Let's take a look at the home team, Cape Henlopen Vikings, defensively. In the circle, Abby Marsh, Olivia Hears behind the plate, and Abby Crouch will be the designated player today. At first base, Hayden Hudson. At second, Melina Bueller. Ava Calciano at short. Jordan Bowe at third. Around the outfield, Bree Windish in left. Olivia Mikulski in center. She'll be the flex player today. And then Eden Frederick in right field today for Coach Mike Tack and Cape Henlopen. Number 2 ranking, as we said. Wins over Stephen Decatur, a very good Maryland team. Sussex Academy, a top 10 team they shut out. Conrad, they had to come from behind and won 12-10. And then, of course, that big win over Caravel on Saturday, 7-4. Smyrna Eagles defensively in the circle, Lexi Dennis, Casey Lloyd behind the dish. Simone Edge at first, Lacey Donovan at second. Addie Weisenberger at short. Savannah Arnold will man third base. In the outfield, Ryan Durnall in left, Kate Slaney in center, and Paxton Dixon in right field.
And interestingly enough, this is a little bit of a change in this Smyrna lineup. I think we've seen this 3 or 4 games, putting Clay short to second to see if she can go the DP. Simone, Lex Dennis, Kate is a senior at the University of South Florida.
And that's why
we're quite reduced there. Certainly a word of caution.
The game, Marsh with 80 with 13 of the
In life, some things just go together, like a burger and fries, and home and auto insurance from State Farm. So make it a combo. Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Just call State Farm agent Juwan Johnson and find out how you could start saving today. It's just another way we're here to help life go right.
Welcome to Surf Bagel.
Surf Bagel has served the community in Delaware for over 20 years, providing fresh, hot bagels, breakfast sandwiches, lunch sandwiches, wraps, salads, local coffee and smoothies, and our iconic merch. Welcome to Surf Bagel. We're stoked to serve you.
Welcome to Surf Bagel.
Back here at blustery Cape Henlopen High School, and what should be different? We have to have wind. It's a softball game here in Delaware. Wind blowing in from right field. It was blowing out when Benny and I got here to left. So it's blowing in from left now. And it's going to be an adventure again this afternoon for anything hit up in the air for these fielders. I think the national anthem was had a little competition with some hip-hop music from over there by the, I don't know, was the baseball diamond or out in the soccer practice. But anyhow, we got it in. And we're getting ready for this one.
I think if they're going to be successful today, again, gap-to-gap hitting and line drives. You get that ball up in the air, it's going to present challenges. And as I usually say, if the ball's in the air, it only takes one person to get you out. If the ball's on the ground, somebody has to field it, somebody's got to throw it, somebody's got to catch it. So your odds are better keeping the ball down than up in the air. Both of these teams have really strong outfields, so line drive hitting today.
All right, we're short camera operators today, so I'm going to do double duty. I'll be running the camera, so you can blame me for the shots. Shannon's going to take over play-by-play. This is a Benny Mitchell production. We're about ready to go.
So Ryan Durnall, the left fielder for Smyrna, steps in. Abby Marsh set to pitch, and here we go. Strike one to Durnall. Smyrna will present, I think, equal lefties. This Cape lineup has several. Smyrna has several. As she tries to lay that bunt down, goes foul down the third base line. 0-2 count here to Durnall. Getting some instructions from her first base coach. Good start for Marsh, working ahead here. As Durnall swings through that for strikeout number one for Marsh. Bring the designated player, number 13, Lindsay Roscoe, to the plate. Roscoe also does some of the pitching duties for Smyrna. High and outside for ball one. Marsh will throw a fastball. She'll try to locate in all quadrants. She'll throw a curveball and a screwball.
Roscoe and the DP, she's the DP today, and Casey Lloyd, the catcher, are cousins.
Yes, they are. There's a lot of family history in this Smyrna lineup as that ball's just up in the zone for ball two. So Roscoe's mom, Kelly Lloyd, played here. Addie Weisenberg's mom played here. Low in the zone, ball 3.
Smyrna, in the program history, has won 3 state championships. They won back-to-back in 18 and 19. Then they won their other title, their first one, way back in 93. Cape looking for their first.
As she issues a walk to Roscoe. So that will bring the first baseman, Simone Edge, to the plate. As we said in the opening, Simone is committed to Texas Tech. She takes a big swing through that for strike 1. We see her brother Cameron roaming around here. I think he's sitting out here just beyond left field.
Saw him at the last game, too, up at Smyrna with Lake Forest.
Fouls that pitch back. He was a good quarterback in Smyrna, went to University of Maryland, I think, originally, is now set to transfer to somewhere in Michigan. Eastern Michigan, there you go. Roscoe stands at first, Edge in the hole, 0-2. There's that curveball just missed on the outside for ball 1. So a 1-2 count here to Edge. Marsh does have a change. We see it every once in a while as Edge chases that high. And, oh, here's had it. Just bobbled it, popped out of her glove. So new life for Edge. Still a 1-2 count here. Jammed her up with a screwball. She fouls that off the inside of the bat. Hudson made an effort but couldn't get to it. Good quality at bat here for Edge after falling behind 0-2 right away. This will be the 6th pitch of the at bat for her. And she flares that to the shortstop, Calciano, for out number 2. So 2 outs. Lindsay Roscoe stands at first. That brings the third baseman, Savannah Arnold, to the plate. Pitch is in low for ball 1. So Marsh pretty typically known to be an east-west pitcher, meaning things are going to be curveball, screwball on plane with the barrel of the bat. She gets a hold of that and handled by Melina Bueller at second to Hayden Hudson at first for the 3rd out of the inning. We will be back with the bottom of the 1st. Welcome back to Cape Henlopen High School here for Henlopen softball action. The Smyrna Eagles taking on the Cape Henlopen Vikings here at Bill Cordry Field. 0-0 ball game here as we head into the bottom of the 1st. And the lineup for the Cape Vikings, we'll see Ava Calciano, the shortstop, lead off, followed by Olivia Hears, the catcher, and Hayden Hudson, the first baseman, will be the first 3 that Lex Dennis will face.
She got off to a good start against Lake Forest in that game last week. Only gave up 1 run through 3 innings.
She did. She was able to get ahead of her hitters. We'll see if she can do the same today. Dennis, just a sophomore for the Smyrna Eagles.
Of course, Cassiano had the big hit Saturday, the walk-off 3-run home run to beat Caravel. First time Cape beat Caravel in over 20 years.
Milestone for them. I think they're going to hit a couple of those this season. Ball 2 to Cassiano. Dennis just low in the zone. Cassiano always a tough out. Has a good eye for the strike zone. She's committed to UConn. We don't see too many players from this region decide to go north and play in colder weather, but Ava has chosen to do that. Obviously, they'll go to Florida when it's really cold, but she fouls that off.
Well, if it's windy up there, she'll be used to that.
That's for sure. Dennis gets her swinging at that high top of the strike zone. So evens up the count there, 2-2. Dennis does a good job of working high and low in the zone, changes the batter's eye level. See if she'll chase it again. Cassiano holds off, takes her to full count. Signals are coming in from the coaching staff. Payoff pitch here from Dennis. Cassiano fouls that off. Out of play. Again, nice quality at bat for your leadoff hitter to have here, Glenn. Seeing 6 pitches, getting information for her team, doing exactly what you expect your leadoff hitter to do.
Yep, doing her job. One of the best. Right out towards us.
And that will stay foul.
Left fielder Durnall, no stranger to camera time. She got plenty of it last week in the Lake Forest game.
And Dennis spins the ball well, so you're going to see this ball tail, especially if they're fouling them off. You're going to see it tail off, and that's just credit to the spin that Lex Dennis is able to put on the pitch. Another payoff pitch here. Cassiano fights that off, fouls it back out of play. She'll see her 9th pitch of the at-bat here next. Little team meeting. It's always nice when you see the teammates come in and give her that extra little boost of confidence. Dennis set to deliver. And
great at bat.
Great at bat. Ball outside, just missing there. Puts Cassiano on. As we know, the MO is for her to take off and steal second. So Casey Lloyd behind the plate is going to have to be ready for that.
16 stolen bases coming in today.
Lloyd, a sophomore, behind the plate. Brings Olivia Heers, Cape's catcher, to the plate.
She's been hot lately.
Yeah, provides a lot of power in this Cape lineup. And there goes Cassiano. And she's in safe.
Give her 17 stolen bases on the year. By the way, she's only 4 hits shy of 100 for her career. Like I said, 2 regular season games left after today. Possibly she gets it in the regular season.
And what trust they put in Olivia Heers to be able to take that first pitch and let Ava steal. And sometimes she goes in the hole right away. I mean, it could be the best pitch she sees of the at-bat, but she's got to take that pitch to let Ava go.
Right.
You know, and
that's a good teammate.
And if Ava, yeah, and if Ava's going for the record for stolen bases too, you know, they're trying to get her, and that puts Liv in a hole sometimes. But trust in her that she can hit out of those situations. So puts her in a tough spot, but Coach Tack trusts that she's able to handle that. And not just physically handle it, mentally handle that. That's tough. She's ahead in the count right now, 2-1.
I'm fighting this wind to hold this camera as steady as possible. So if you see it jumping around a little bit, folks, that's what's happening.
Big cut there from here as she swings through that. Evens up the count 2-2. Calciano stands at second. First baseman Hayden Hudson stands on deck.
She had a good game Saturday against Caravel.
And
healthy cut there, but
Lex Dennis gets her going down on strikes. So that's one out here in the bottom of the first. Brings lefty Hudson to the plate. We'll put Abby Marsh on deck.
Hudson had a two-run double and that comeback in the 6th inning Saturday to tie things up against Caravel. I think she had 4 hits that day. That double-checked that.
Little low in inside to Hudson there for ball number 1. We can hear tag calling numbers. Trying to put something on here. We'll see what happens. Calciano's got some speed. We'll see if Hudson doesn't try to lay down a bunt in advance or if he lets her swing away. And she is swinging. Fouls that one back.
Colorful atmosphere here today. Of course, Smyrna in the road reds and Cape in their home blues. Nice sunny skies.
Even with the wind, it's a good day for softball. 1-1 count here to Hudson. Dennis goes to deliver. Up in the zone for ball 2. And the wind keeps swirling. So these poor outfielders are going to have a tough time today. They're going to have to keep rechecking which way the wind is going to blow. She gets up underneath the one, going to give the outfield time. That is center fielder Kate Slaney, and Calciano is going to tag and make her way to third. So sacrifice fly for Hudson. Good job by Slaney playing that. 2 down here in the bottom of the first.
Get a chance to pan around here a little bit. You can see the crowd. That's down the first baseline. See all the lawn chairs.
Brings Abby Marsh to the plate. See if she can help herself out. Marsh always another threat to hit. Pitch 1 is in for a called strike.
Now we have season ticket holders right below us to our left, the Hears family. I can't wheel the camera around that much to get them in the picture. But just take my word for it. They're right there.
She reaches out on that little bit of off-speed pitch there, fouls that back. She's quickly in the hole 0-2. If Dennis can figure out how to get Abby Marsh out, this is a big out for her to keep Calciano from scoring. Ball low. Count goes to 1-2. Marsh fouls that one back again. Count will still stay 1-2.
A little bit of crowd down the down the left field line here at Cape.
And I know they've moved the bleachers around here from where they used to sit, but I still think it's tough to see the game from back there. We see a lot of people out there on the hill, down the right field line rather. And that is in low. Evens the count at 2-2. Marsh doing a good job holding off there. Ground ball cut off nice by Savannah Arnold. Great play by the third baseman over to edge to end the inning and keep that run from scoring. We will be back with the top of the second.
For over 15 years, our company has been building homes in Sussex County, Delaware. We offer a completely comprehensive program for our customers that makes building a new home enjoyable. At Capstone Homes, we have access to lots in our amazing communities or through our realtor partners. Visit with our team of professionals for a completely comprehensive experience. We can handle absolutely every part of building a new home for you and your family. Create your new home. Create a Capstone home. For over 15 years, our company has been building homes in Sussex County, Delaware.
Welcome back to Bill Cordry Field here at Cape Henlopen as we head to the top of the second inning. 0-0 ball game here between the Smyrna Eagles and the Cape Henlopen Vikings. Both pitchers doing a great job getting settled in here early and each seeing 4 batters. Both have a strikeout and keeping things pretty clean here. Both teams have a base runner left on, and it'll just be a matter of time before we see who takes advantage of things, Glenn.
Yep. Of course, as we already mentioned, Cape has a big game coming up Thursday against Polytech. That'll be for the Henlopen North title. And the winner of the game, I think it's, they flip-flop back and forth as to the North hosting the championship game of the Henlopen or the South. This year it's the North's turn. So if Cape wins, they'll host the Henlopen Conference title game. And if Polytech should win on Thursday, I would assume that, it's going to be a Polytech.
I agree with you. And one can only assume at this point Lake Forest will seal up the Southern Division.
Right.
So if they haven't already, I'm not totally sure about that. So here we go, top of the second. That'll bring Addison Weisenberger to the plate. She is playing shortstop today. Also, for the first half of the season, we saw her do a lot of the catching, Glenn.
Right.
And then as Smyrna's coach has made a little adjustment to their defensive set, we've seen her playing some shortstop here most recently. So that first pitch in is for a ball. Called strike there to even the count, 1-1. Weisenberger committed to Salisbury to go play softball and continue her education next year. We joked about the family history. Her mom played at Smyrna. And Marsh kind of uncorks that pitch for ball 2. And that is typical of what we saw during that Sussex Central game where things just got away from Abby a little bit.
Right. For Sussex Central the other day, I was kind of shocked when I saw that loss 16-3 to Indian River.
That ball is high and outside of the zone.
Because they've been playing some good ball against some very good ball teams.
They have, and Hall is really coming along nicely as that freshman pitcher for Coach John Wells down there. So 3-1 count now to Weisenberger. She fouls that pitch back to take it to full count.
Nothing against Indian River because they started out the year, in good fashion. They kind of went in a little slump there in the middle part of the season, but I was just shocked by the margin of victory.
Well, and they lost a lot to graduation, so this year's kind of them getting resettled and configured again. And Weisenberger looked like she tried to check that, but called strike, so she goes down as a strikeout victim. Second strikeout for Abby Marsh today. And that will bring the second baseman, number 15, Lacey Donovan, to the plate. Lacey's been one to come through with some clutch hits for her team so far this year. She fouls that pitch back behind the Smyrna dugout.
Shannon and I are fortunate that we're going to call the Eastern Regional Pod up at Goldie Beacom later this week. And we're going to see some visiting players from the Henlopen Conference in that tournament.
Ball high and outside.
How about Katie Borowski, who used to pitch at Polytech in her high school days? She is the pitcher of the year in the conference in the CACC for Bridgeport. So we'll see her against Goldie Beacom first round on Thursday.
And she tries to bunt that high fastball. Again, we say all the time how hard it is to get a bunt down that's up in the zone. So difficult. Brings the count to 1-2 to Donovan. Marsh not taking a chance that she would try it again, so she keeps the ball up in the zone, but misses, bringing us to a 2-2 count. Just misses at the bottom of the zone. So we are going to sit at a full count here to Lacey Donovan. Payoff pitch here from Abby Marsh. And Donovan fouls that straight back. Good at bat here by Donovan.
Another visiting player from Bridgeport again that we're going to see this week up at Goldie Beacom. How about Maya Jones? Played at Sussex Central.
And Marsh gets her third strikeout of the day as Donovan swings through that pitch. Yeah, there's a nice little cluster of former Delaware players in this conference, Glenn, that we're going to get a chance to see later this week. As Lex Dennis steps in, trying to help herself out here. She fouls pitch number 1 back. Another lefty in that lineup for the Smyrna Eagles. Low and outside for ball 1. Big cut through that. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Counts 1 and 2 now to Lex Dennis. Low and away. Evens the count. 2-2. Marsh in a little bit of a rhythm now. Wasted no time getting the ball back from Hears. Stepping on the rubber, getting ready to go. Up high.
Another 3-2 count.
And will take us to full count again. It's 2 batters in a row, 3 batters in a row. And Dennis draws a walk. 2-out walk. And as the pitcher, oftentimes we see a courtesy runner, so we see Coach Marcano go to the home plate umpire. And we'll see, as soon as we can get a number on that runner, we'll let you know who that is. Courtesy runner for the pitcher, Lex Dennis. It's going to bring another lefty, Kate Slaney, the center fielder, to the plate. See if Smyrna can't get something started here. A little rally with 2 outs here in the top of the second. 0-0 ball game at this point. And she swings through that for strike 1. Up in the zone for ball 2, and Here's took a chance and trying to pick off the courtesy runner at first. Able to get back in time. I still can't see that number on that runner to let you know who that is. Slaney takes another big cut through that. She's 1-2 now in the count. Pitch is called a ball for a 2-2 count. There's your count, Glenn. 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think that might be Alyssa Spicer.
Popped up foul, and both the third baseman, Jordan Bowe, and catcher Hears make a go at it. Neither can catch up to it.
That is Alyssa Spicer, who's the courtesy runner, the junior.
Thank you.
First.
Slaney gets jammed up on that and is able to fight it off for another foul ball. Still sitting at a 2-2 count. So there you go. Second inning, 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, deuce was wild. Right, Smyrna working Marsh a little bit this inning, seeing a lot of pitches.
And a called strike 3 will end the inning. 3 strikeouts for Marsh. Runner left on, no hits, no runs. We will be back for the bottom of the second. Welcome back here to Cape Henlopen High School, Bill Cordry Field, as we have the Smyrna Eagles taking on the Cape Henlopen Vikings. 0-0 ball game here so far. Abby Marsh doing her work certainly in the circle for the Vikings. 4 strikeouts on the day. Issued a walk in each inning, Glenn, which we saw her walk numbers really rise again in that game against Sussex Central. She came into that day with 13 walks on the season and issued 11 that day. She got 1 in each inning so far. Really not that typical for her, but she has had a little trouble finding the zone. And we will see if the Vikings can get something started here against sophomore pitcher Lex Dennis, as we will see Eden Frederick, the right fielder, Jordan Bowe, the third baseman, and Bree Windish, the left fielder for the Vikings.
Score update for you in the Henlopen South. In the third, Delmar leads Indian River 2-0.
And Delmar's having a great season this year.
Yep, we have them ranked in top 10. They've been there all season.
First pitch is in for a ball to lefty slapper Eden Frederick.
Delmar's 10-4. We have them currently ranked number 7.
Saw them play up at Caravel. They had a great game up there. Despite the loss, that Delmar took that day, they played very well. As Frederick fouls that one back. Their pitcher's throwing very, very well. Certainly a team to keep an eye on. 1-1 count here to Frederick. If she gets on, she has speed as well. Called strike. 1-2 count now to Eden Frederick. Nice outside pitch from Dennis. These lefty slappers like that outside pitch. We see Lloyd setting up to the outside. Frederick just pops it in. Handled here easily by Ryan Durnall in left field for out number 1. Right idea by Frederick, just too much on it.
I think for Delmar, you're talking about Rickards.
Yes.
Their fine pitcher down there.
Macy Rickards. She's thrown real well this season. That'll bring third baseman Jordan Bowe to the plate. Bowe, one of the freshmen on the Vikings roster. There are 4 freshmen on this roster for Coach Mike Tack.
I think, and we haven't seen everybody in the top 10, but to me, Cape Henlopen, top to bottom, I think the best offensive team in the state.
I don't disagree with you. Lake Forest certainly has weapons, but they fall off, I think, number 7, 8, and 9 a little bit, and Cape just keeps them coming.
Cape with a team batting average of just under 400 on the season.
One-two count now to Bowe.
No, I was talking to Benny Mitchell before you got here today, Shannon, and usually this is what happens, but you have the Caravel, DMA, St. Mark's, Apo, Upstate, and then really all the rest of the really solid teams are in the Henlopen Conference.
Correct, and that has just kind of always been the way, as she sends that ball sky high as second baseman Lacey Donovan drops back into the grass to handle that fly ball. I had to check because I know this defensive set so well for Smyrna, but they've mixed things up. I had to double check and make sure I had the right player. Donovan doing a nice job there. And you're right, it's just kind of always been that way. Henlopen softball has just been so strong for years, and there's just so much history there. And some of the best competition has just always been in the Henlopen Conference, and I think that just says a lot for the players and the coaches, obviously, but I also just think it has to do with how the schools are built. There's not as many schools in Kent and Sussex County, so, when they put everybody together, they really do have these all-star type high school teams where when they're upstate, they sort of get spread out more among multiple high schools in one particular district, and, so I think that certainly does play a factor as Windish goes down and fouls that low pitch off. So I think that's, that has something to do with it. And then as you just spread the talent out, obviously it makes it harder for those high schools to compete. So credit to a school like Apo with now 3 high schools in that district, and
Right.
and Timpson able to keep his team, strong. He just seems to reload every year and has the pitching of Ayla McCathern as a senior this year, so that's why they're doing well, certainly. Windish, a nice long swing through that, and Dennis has her 1 and 2 now. But yeah, rich tradition in softball and Henlopen softball. Two down here, top of the second. Outside pitch to Windish will even the count, 2-2.
I'm not gonna say it.
She fouls that pitch straight back. You mean I get to steal it from you today?
Yeah, because there's extra 2s up there
There
now.
are extra 2s.
Because you got the batter.
Right? She's number 20. We got 2s all the way across the board. Number 20 at the plate. Second inning, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
I'm looking at 22 at shortstop. Deuces are wild. I wasn't going to say it.
Going to run us to full count here to Bree Windish.
Both teams, the batters being very patient today at the plate. Good discipline.
Third time that Lex Dennis has been put in this position today. She gets the sign in, and payoff pitch from Dennis here. Windish gets up underneath of that. And
I get with second base again.
Lacey Donovan handles that. So we go 1-2-3 here in the second. Still no score, 0-0 ball game here at Cape Henlopen. We will be back with the third.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Today we're at Matt's Fish Camp in Fenwick Island, Delaware. Come check us out. Matt's Fish Camp features seafood classics, coastal comfort food, and chef-driven specials that pair perfectly with our large selection of craft ales, curated wine list, and camp cocktails. Matt's offers indoor and outdoor dining and is the perfect place to have dinner with your family, happy hour with friends, or enjoy lunch at the Raw Bar. Matt's Fish Camp in Fenwick Island, Delaware, open 7 days a week year-round. See you soon. Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer.
Welcome back to 302 Sports. We have Glenn Frazier on camera today doing double duty as my color person today, really, huh? Changing little roles. And Benny Mitchell producing. I am Shannon Timmons. We are here at Cape Henlopen High School and Bill Cordry Field for this Henlopen softball matchup between the Smyrna Eagles and the Cape Henlopen Vikings. Headed into the top of the third, 0-0 ball game. And both pitchers really kind of in a pitching duel, Glenn. Both pitchers handling things nicely so far. And we're getting ready to see the bottom of the Smyrna lineup. And Casey Lloyd will come to the plate, and then we will roll to the top. Second time through, we'll see if they can't figure something out and get on the board here. Marsh doing a great job.
Somebody turned out the lights. As the sun goes by behind a big cloud cover here.
First pitch in is low for ball 1. Casey Lloyd moved from third base to behind the plate, taking over the catching duties here recently for the Eagles. And she sends one ground ball to Calciano at short, handled over to Hudson for out number 1.
One of the best shortstops, all-round shortstops in the state. And I got to say, all conference, of course, I think they split it up north and south. They don't combine it.
They do.
But socially, Bailey Glandon, for her sheer offensive power, would be the, I would think, the South shortstop all conference.
I would agree. So we are back up to the top of the order. Ryan Durnall. She lays down a bunt pretty hard right to Hudson, who flips it to Bueller at first for out number 2. Good coverage there defensively. 2 quick outs here in the top of the third. That will bring the designated player, number 13, Lindsay Roscoe, to the plate, who walked her first at-bat, but was stranded at first base. In low for ball one.
So both pitchers throwing a no-hitter at this point. We just have two base runners reach on walks.
And that one in low part of the zone for a called strike.
Lights are back on here.
Another called strike. There's that curveball from Marsh that works across the plate. So Roscoe in the hole, 1-2 here. She kind of gets jammed up a little bit. Another grounder to Calciano, handled easily over to Hudson for out number 3. Made quick work of that. Glenn, we will be back with you here for the bottom of the third. Welcome back for the bottom of the third inning, as Cape Henlopen made quick work of the top of the third. And we were just talking off air, you know, pitchers are doing a great job, both allowing no hits so far. Just 2 walks from Marsh, 1 in the first, 1 in the second. And that's been the base runners for her so far. You know, so we'll see what happens here as we get the bottom of the Cape lineup coming up in Milena Bueller, the second baseman, Abby Crouch, the designated player. And we will roll to the top of the order with Calciano, who led off with a walk in the first. First pitch in for a strike.
I know you're not an Alabama fan, but every time you say you're rolling, I think Roll Tide is coming out of your mouth. But I know that wouldn't happen.
That would
that
not
Tennessee
happen.
girl.
That would not happen. Great softball program, just not my team. Bueller fouls that back.
Right conference.
Correct. Wrong colors.
Yeah.
Quickly 0-2 to Bueller here for Lex Dennis.
Benny Mitchell's probably saying, I never had a cameraman talk as much as this cat.
Go Vols. Low and away. Just missed outside. 1-2 count now to Milena Bueller. Dennis set to deliver. Just takes a little bit off of that pitch. Misses the zone, so we're 2-2.
Part of the weather forecast for today down here. Small craft advisory for the Delaware Bay.
No doubt.
Nice location there.
So Dennis was way ahead at 0-2 and has now worked this out to a full count. Credit to Bueller for being patient. Payoff pitch here from Dennis. And she loses her and walks her. So a leadoff base runner for Cape Henlopen will bring the designated player Abby Crouch to the plate. Won't be surprised to see if Tack calls for the bunt here.
Yeah, you see catcher Lloyd in the circle now having a little conversation with Dennis. going over what could happen here.
Don't see a shift in the Smyrna defense as of yet. And we'll see if Dennis chooses to keep this ball up in the zone in a potential bunt situation. And she does. Crouch gets it down. Edge tags her. What a smart play by Edge. She fires to second just in case they get Bueller off the bag. Heads up play there by Edge just to tag Abby Marsh going by.
Sure was. Saved the throw, and who knows, the runner could have advanced to third base on the throw.
Absolutely. So the sacrifice is successful. They move Bueller to second. And here we are at the top of the order. Ava Calciano steps in. She was walked in her first at-bat after like 9 pitches.
Advanced all the way around to third and was stranded there.
And after her walk-off home run, I'm sure they're going to be real careful pitching to her here.
Yeah, not only does she have she can bunt, she can use her speed, she hits good line drives, but she's got some power too.
Well, she's committed to UConn, so.
Ooh.
And there it is, gone. You knew it when it hit the bat. So the Vikings will go up by 2 on the shot to right center field from Calciano.
Well, that broke the scoreless game and the no-no all in one swing. And what a shot.
No doubt, as soon as she hit it, you knew it was gone. So 2 RBIs there for Calciano on the 2-run home run.
And hit number, what's it, 997 now for? No, 97 now for her career, 97 hits.
And again, we always say the walks always score, so the walk to Bueller, she scores there. Vikings go up 2-0. That'll bring Heers to the plate. Hard chopper there to short, handled by Weisenberger. Over to Edge for out number 2. And that'll bring first baseman Hayden Hudson up, who was a fly out to center field in her first at-bat in the first inning. Interestingly enough, when we saw that Sussex Central game, Coach Wells chose to intentionally walk Calciano. Teams are going to catch on to that. She keeps doing damage like that.
Well, Caravel did the same thing Saturday. They walked her twice to get to Heers, and once it worked out and once it didn't.
Yep.
50-50 shot. Ooh.
Changeup floats in there. That was a pretty pitch.
That's about the slowest pitch I've seen this season.
But not in for a strike, so 2 balls to Hudson.
That's right, folks. We do not have slow motion on the camera.
I think she may have fooled the umpire on that, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I
That
think
was a
you're right.
beautiful pitch. Again, we're out here in left field. Height-wise, it was pretty. Not sure where it crossed the plate, but we obviously can't see in and out that well. Hudson takes a big cut through that for strike 1.
That small craft advisory is now a warning as I take both hands and hold on to the
With
camera.
a 35-mile-an-hour gust warning.
Yeah.
Hudson grounds that foul. Now look at the scoreboard,
Oh
Glenn.
my gosh, right when you said that, I was taking a peek, Shannon.
Hudson's number 22, so we got 2s all the way across the board.
Oh, yeah. We got a 2-0 game, 2 outs, 2-2 count, number 22 at bat.
It's Glenn's favorite.
Deuces are wild.
Taking Smyrna a little while to get these
Yeah.
pitches called in here. Change up again, floats in, but not for a strike. So we're going to go to full count with Hudson here. 2 outs here, bottom of the third. On the Calciano home run, Cape has taken the lead, 2-0. Payoff pitch from Dennis. And Hudson fouls that out our way.
Darnell came over here to take a look.
Fouled that right into the batting cage. Fly ball. Durnall's going to give chase, but too close to the fence for them to catch up to it. Hudson stays alive here in this at-bat. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat for her.
Yeah, I think we talked about this earlier. Both teams, the batters are being very patient at the plate, really working the pitch counts.
Hudson fouls another one straight back. Full count here to Hayden Hudson. 2 outs. Bottom of the third. See what Dennis delivers. Ball low, but Hudson swung. It was a drop third strike, but they get her out at first to end the inning. So the Vikings go up 2-0 here in the bottom of the third. We will see if Smyrna can answer when we come back.
First State Orthopedics has 46 physicians and 22 physician's assistants at 16 locations across the state of Delaware. We provide both surgical and non-surgical treatment for a variety of orthopedic conditions, are specially trained in current state-of-the-art techniques. We serve as team physicians for over 20 high schools, Wilmington University, and many local recreational and competitive leagues. Our doctors are readily available to all local emergency departments, medical aid units, and urgent care centers for consultation and treatment. Give us a call today at 302-731-2888 or visit us online at firststateortho.com.
We're about ready to head to the top of the 4th inning here at Cape Henlopen High, and there's only been one hit in the game, and that was a 2-run homer by Ava Calciano, and that's where we stand at 2-0 here. A little bit further south, it's Delmar 7, Indian River nothing. They're in the 4th inning of that game in a Henlopen South matchup. Delmar having a good season, probably the only team that could stand in the way of Lake Forest winning a title.
I would agree with you, Glenn. And pitching-wise, Delmar's having a great year. Lake's having a great year. So that Southern Division is going to present some problems for people. All right, Simone Edge, first baseman for Smyrna, steps in. Texas Tech commit to face off against Abby Marsh here in the top of the 4th. That ball is in the dirt for ball 1. Edge with power. If she can get a hold of something, she can drive. Pitches in for a called strike. And that is out of here for a home run from Simone Edge.
Her brother almost caught it.
He flips it back over the fence to left fielder Bree Windish. And just like that, Smyrna cuts the lead in half on the home run by Simone Edge.
I'm having a little laugh here with her brother Cam. He had that one right in his hands, man. He dropped it. In banana baseball, Savannah Bananas, that'd have been an out if he'd have caught it. On his sister, by the way.
So we're having some fun here.
That's why he
with,
was quarterback. He didn't have to catch a ball.
We're having some fun here with the Edge family, just sitting outside the fence, outside of left field. Just said if she gets a hold of something, she's got the power, right?
Oh, boy.
So here we go. This brings Savannah Arnold to the plate, third baseman, who grounded out to second base in the first inning in her first at-bat. First pitch to her is in for a strike. Long ball getting it done here today in Lewis.
How about it?
Out of Bill Cordry Field here at Cape Henlopen High School. 1-1 count here to Arnold.
So I look back in the schedule, and Delmar and Lake actually played real early in the season.
She gets up underneath of a pitch, and Melina Bueller, second baseman, is going to take care of that.
And Delmar lost to Lake 3-1 in that game. So really, I think for all intents and purposes, Lake has already wrapped up the Henlopen South. They still have to play Laurel and Woodbridge. So it's not a done deal yet.
First pitch into shortstop Addison Weisenberger, called strike. Addison headed to Salisbury next year. Has done most of the catching up until about the last 2 weeks of the season. She's moved out to shortstop, and she puts one into second base that gets booted by Bueller. Just kind of rolls up her arm, kicks past her, so she's on base with one out.
All of a sudden, Shannon, the offense is picking up a little bit here for both teams.
Brings number 15 second baseman Lacey Donovan to the plate. Lacey's played well so far today, handling some of those fly balls coming her way. Marsh gets up underneath of that, puts that in high for ball one. And with some of the struggles that Abby Marsh has had finding the zone, and she's uncorked a few, had some wild pitches. I'm wondering if with runners on, you know, if that we don't see that again, Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
That certainly puts pressure on a pitcher. Obviously, Smyrna just cut that lead in half with the home run by Simone Edge, and now there's a runner on. There's only one out. A little bit of pressure on the Cape defense now. And that's a little help there from Donovan, swinging at the high pitch.
Had a little movement on it, too.
So she's in the hole, 1-2.
We call that the old rise ball.
And called strike 3 to Donovan. It's her second strikeout of the day for out number 2 here in the fourth. Brings up pitcher Lex Dennis, who was walked in her first at-bat in the second inning. That ball is in low for ball number 1. Still got Weisenberger over at first. 2 outs here, top of the fourth. They've scored a run on that home run by Edge. She was the first batter of the inning. That's in for ball 2.
Here's keeping an eye down there on the base runner. She has a good arm.
And that's in for a called strike. 2 balls, 1 strike here to Lexi Dennis. Pitcher against pitcher here. She fouls that pitch back, even it up at 2-2. I always like this pitcher on pitcher battle. See who can win out. I think she just got a little bit of that to foul that off. Went down low and chased that pitch. Still going to sit with a 2-2 count.
How about that? The runner took off anyhow. Kind of caught him by surprise.
Stolen base for Addie Weisenberger. And a full count now to Lex Dennis. Same spot she was in her first at-bat before she drew the walk from Marsh. She fouls that pitch back. It's a good fight by her. Sixth pitch of her at-bat. As we see Coach Marcano coaching her up from the third base coach's box. And she nubs that to shortstop. Calciano to Hudson, who hangs on for it for the third out of the inning. So, nice home run there by Edge as the first batter to cut this lead in half. It is 2-1 Cape over Smyrna as we head to the bottom of the fourth.
Just about ready to go here in the bottom of the fourth inning. 2-1 ball game. All home runs. 2-run shot by Calciano for Cape, a solo shot for Edge of Smyrna, and that's where we stand. They're the only 2 hits of the game. I'm sure you didn't give another hit to the other ball that looked like an error on the second baseman.
Yeah, that's what I have it as.
Yep.
So long ball getting it done here, and defensively, lots of balls hit to Lacey Donovan at second base, and lots of balls hit to Ava Calciano at shortstop. And other than that, that's the ball game.
Yeah.
So bottom of the fourth, we will lead it off here with Abby Marsh, who grounded out to the third baseman, Savannah Arnold, in the first inning in her first at-bat. And I'm sure Cape would like to put a couple runs on the board as insurance.
Well, they only had 1 run against Caravel into the 6th inning Saturday before they exploded.
And they've had some come-from-behind wins. I mean, they're up by 1 right now, but they've had several. You mentioned Conrad was one, and Caravel was one. They've been behind in several instances, and they've been fortunate to come out of those with wins. So I don't know that there's a lot of insurance runs going around right now, but I'm sure Coach Tack would like to get a few. 2 balls here so far to Abby Marsh. Called strike.
Coach Tack told me before we went on the air, he said, Glenn, I played ball. I've had exciting moments then, exciting coaching moments. None more exciting than that walk-off home run against Caravel on Saturday.
I'm sure. That last pitch called a ball wide. So a 3-1 count to Marsh. Dennis has to come back and find the zone here. Last thing you want to start to do is give free passes to a team like Cape Henlopen. And Marsh sends that right back up the middle for a base hit. Second hit that Dennis has given up. Obviously the first was that 2-run shot to Calciano. And a single there to Marsh, which will bring the lefty, Eden Frederick, playing right field today for the Vikings, to the plate. Lefty slapper. Marsh with a little bit of speed. She picks up second base. Puts her in scoring position. And we'll see if Eden just doesn't lay down a straight up bunt and has some speed. She could bunt for a single. She popped it up here in her first at-bat out to left field, just had too much on that slap. Right idea, just put too much on it. She's at a 1-1 count now.
I heard a fan, obviously a Smyrna fan, yell. She left early, talking about Marsh. No call, obviously, by the umpire, no appeal, but that's one thing we have not seen called all season. It is rare.
Frederick fouls that one back as well. Well, and unlike the NCAA, we do not have the option to
Oh, no replay.
go to replay. I think Dennis tried to get that changeup in, rolled it across the plate. So it is 2-2 to Eden Frederick. She puts that to the shortstop, Weisenberger, who throws across to edge to get the out at first, but does advance Marsh to third. And Marsh was on the hit, moving.
Yeah, bang play.
But Weisenberger did not have an option to tag Marsh. She was almost past her by the time she fielded that. So Frederick gets the sacrifice really for just moving her over. So job done by Frederick to move Marsh into scoring position for the third baseman, Jordan Bowe. Ball high. Bowe sent one sky high in her first at-bat that was fielded by Donovan over at second base. She drifted back into the grass to catch that pop up in the second inning. Nice change of speed by Dennis. She fouls that one back.
And Shannon, that was a good play defensively by Weisenberger at short, because she partially had her view blocked by Marsh, who was a base runner, still concentrated, didn't panic, and threw it. Normal play, didn't rush the throw to first, and bang play over there, just got the runner.
Yeah, she just didn't have another option. It would have been nice if the timing was different, right? She would have just had Abby Marsh right in front of her to tag her, but Marsh was just leaving on the pitch, and as soon as the ball was hit and she read ball down, she was moving. Two-one count now to Jordan Bowe. Dennis really struggling to get that low pitch in for a strike. She's 3-1 now to Bowe. And ball kicks away. Marsh is going to score. And Smyrna was not paying attention. I'm surprised Bowe didn't take second base, because Dennis was already all the way up to home. Lloyd flipped it back to her. And now we see Smyrna's coach call timeout, and let's come have a conversation.
Big run for Cape. Get that lead back to 2 runs in the ball game. Yeah, a little conversation with head coach Nina Marcano and her battery of Dennis and Lloyd.
Bree Windish is waiting to step in the box. She also popped up to second baseman Donovan in her first at-bat in the second inning. Score now 3-1, Cape Henlopen, as Marsh scores on that pitch that got away from Casey Lloyd behind the plate.
It's a long conversation here in the circle. And it looked like they were doing a little mound maintenance out in front of the rubber.
Well, Dennis has missed quite a few pitches low in the dirt. So everybody will resume their positions. Windish ready to go. Lex Dennis ready to go. One down here, bottom of the fourth. Called strike. Sometimes those little conversations, you know, just reset their brain and get things going in the right direction. Big swing from Windish, but she swings through that.
I guess that little meeting did help. It's 0-2.
Quickly in the hole, 0-2.
Let's see if she can take advantage this time, because she's been 0-2 before on at least one batter in the game and then worked all the way back to a full count.
Yeah, and that was against Melina Bueller, who eventually walked and was the other person that scored on the Calciano home run. And she gets Windish in 3 pitches for a strikeout, which we haven't seen a strikeout since the, well, she struck out Hudson, but it was a drop third strike. So true strikeout, you know, clean in the first inning. So.
Well, I don't know what Coach Nina Marcano said at that meeting in the circle, but she just looked like a genius.
And that's a big out. To get Windish out, that's a big out for Lexi Dennis and the Eagles. That will bring Bueller to the plate. And that's a strike.
About 4 straight strikes.
Whatever she said worked.
Coach Marcano probably in the dugout telling her assistant coach, "See, that worked." What'd you tell her?
Listen, you
Can't
can either go out there and you look like a genius, or you go out there and it goes sideways.
You would know.
I do know. And that little flare shot just over the outstretched arm of Donovan, and little stutter step. Bo hesitated as she rounded second, but she gets into third anyway.
That's one of those little flares that just got over the glove of Smyrna's second baseman, Donovan. So now Dennis in another little jam here. And guess what, Shannon? It's happening again in the 4th inning.
Third hit of the day given up by Lexi Dennis. Brings Abby Crouch to the plate, who had a sacrifice in the 3rd. And she squares to bunt because the runner's going to go. And they sent the throw all the way down to score Jordan Bowe from 3rd. Not quite sure what the plan was there, but that went sideways for the Eagles, allowing the run to score.
I mentioned the 4th inning because that's where things fell apart against Lake Forest last week.
Yeah, I don't know with 2 outs why you throw to second in that case and let that runner score.
Had a play on.
Runs are at a premium today.
I didn't know whether they thought they could get that runner at second. Nevertheless.
So all right, they take care of Crouch on a play 4-3 for the 3rd out. But the Vikings go up 4-1 in the 4th. We will be back with the top of the 5th.
Welcome to Premier Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
but have you tried Premier?
And we're back here at Cape Henlopen High School. 4-1. Vikings on top, headed to the top of the 5th inning. There are 3 unbeaten teams left in the state. This is one right here, the Cape Henlopen Vikings. We have them ranked second behind undefeated Lake Forest at number 1, and right ahead of the third-ranked Appoquinimink Jaguars, who are not only undefeated, but they're beating Caravelle right now 3-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning up in Middletown. So that's a battle of number 3 against number 4, and Caravelle trying to avoid losing 2 straight here in this season.
And I would imagine you'd have to look back a ways to see the last time they lost 2 straight. Probably been a while.
Yeah, game not over yet, but bottom of the 6th. 3-0 lead for Appo. Little humpback liner right to second for out number 1 on 1 pitch, Shannon.
Yeah, Kate
Didn't even
Slaney.
let you get ready.
Couldn't even say who was up. That was Kate Slaney, the center fielder for Smyrna, taken care of by Melina Bueller over there at second base. For the first out of the inning. Brings Casey Lloyd to the plate. Was a ground out to Calciano. In the first, she squares to bunt, but pulls back for ball number 1. And after we see Lloyd bat, we will roll the top of the order. We will not roll Tide, Glenn. We will roll the order.
She remembered.
Good job there by Bo. Fielding that. Nice throw to first. 2 outs. Quick 2 outs here for the Eagles. So here comes the top. Ryan Durnall. Put Lindsey Roscoe, DP, on deck.
So we had a pitch and duel here early in this one, but offense has kind of caught up a little bit.
Well, and that, I'll call it a mental mistake on Smyrna's part, throwing down to second with the runner at third and, 2 outs. I'm not quite sure. Miscommunication, whatever happened there, they gave up that extra run. So they got their insurance runs in that inning.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Caravelle-Appo game is almost into the 7th inning, started at the same time. Pitchers duel up there.
Got a 1-1 count to Durnall right now.
And by the way, Del Mar was still leading Indian River 7-0 in that game.
Marsh has only had 1 inning where she went 1, 2, 3. And Durnall's speed getting down the line. She bunts for an infield single.
Good bunt. I used to do quite a bit of bunting in my day, and I appreciate a good bunter.
I do too. Not my forte, but I do appreciate it.
Don't see it much in the major leagues anymore, and I think there's quite a few guys that should be. Just my opinion.
Brings Lindsey Roscoe to the plate. She walked her first time at bat, grounded out to Calciano at short, and she takes a called strike. Got 2 down here in the top of the 5th. Durnall over at first. Outside for ball 1. From the looks of things, coach in the third bases box must have had something called because she didn't look very happy that whatever was supposed to happen didn't happen. And that ball's gonna just bounce up from Bueller, but still has plenty of time to make the play on Roscoe for the 3rd out of the inning. So while there's a base hit from Durnall on that bunt, they are unable to plate any runs. So it is still 4-1 Vikings as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Welcome back to Cape Henlopen High School. Bill Cordry Field here as we have the Vikings leading the Smyrna Eagles here 4-1. It's been the long ball up until the 4th inning where the Vikings were able to jump ahead on base hit, some stolen bases. As we head to the bottom of the 5th, we're going to be right back at the top of the order with Ava Calciano stepping in. Still have the sophomore pitcher Lexi Dennis in the circle for the Eagles as Calciano takes ball 1. She walked her first at bat, had a 2-run home run in the 3rd. Put the Vikings up 2-0 at that point. And with a little help from her friends, it's a 4-1 ball game. Dennis tries the changeup, floats it in just a little bit high.
.526 batting average for Ava. She scored 30 runs and has a career of 97 hits here at Cape.
That's what you want from your leadoff hitter, Glenn.
Scores runs, steals bases.
Kind of a triple threat in that regard. Headed to UConn next year.
Going to be a Husky.
And on 4 straight pitches, draws a walk.
On base percentage pretty good too, huh?
Again, that's what you expect out of your leadoff hitter. She should score the most runs for your team. She should be on.
Ball game is over. Appoquinimink has knocked off Caravel today 3-1 to remain undefeated. And for the Buccaneers, it's their 3rd defeat of the season.
It's going to bring catcher Olivia Heers to the plate. And she swings and fouls that pitch off. We know Calciano's MO is to go ahead and take off for second. Heers has a strikeout and a ground out to the shortstop so far today. They hold Calciano at first on that. And Heers is in the hole 0-2. I would imagine Calciano is moving on this pitch. And she's in as she slid past the bag but put a toe on.
Yeah.
That was a ball to Heers.
Got down in that track runner stance that time over first base.
1-2 count here to Heers.
Working her way back with a 2-2 count.
Another ball from Dennis. She starts out really strong. She tends to falter a little bit in these later innings. Again, just a sophomore. Sometimes they just have to learn that endurance if they're used to pitching in travel ball. And there's a shot from Heers. And it is gone over the right field fence. A 2-run shot for Olivia Heers that will put the Vikings up 6-1 here in the 5th inning, as she sends one out of here today.
Thought maybe the was it the right fielder or the center fielder, somebody there for Smyrna that had a good shot, got back to the fence, but it just carried over. And the long ball continues to be the thing of the day here at Cape. 3 home runs combined by the 2 teams.
So 2 RBIs for Calciano on the home run, 2 RBIs for Heers on the home run. They've scored on a pass ball. They've scored on a stolen base. Getting it done in all kinds of ways. Brings Hayden Hudson to the plate. Takes a big cut through that for strike number 1. And she skies that high. Looks like Donovan's under it. She gives up on it as center fielder Kate Slaney calls her off. She comes running in and takes care of that for out number 1.
Just got under that one a little bit too much. Good swing on it.
And at first with the headset, I didn't hear Slaney call it. I saw Donovan bail out, and I thought, oh my goodness, who's coming to get that?
Yeah, she had to run in a long ways. The wind held that one up. And that's the same direction that Here's hit her home run.
And that's going to plate Abby Marsh, who started this inning off. So the Vikings have now batted around here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Calciano led off this inning. I didn't write it in my book correctly, Glenn.
Well, we're having you do pretty much double duty like I am. Your play-by-play and color. It happens.
Marsh is grounded out to the third baseman. Had a base hit, stole a base, scored on a pass ball. She's pitching. She's doing all kinds of jobs today, too. And that comes in and hits her what looks like in the elbow. So that's going to put Abby Marsh on, hit by a pitch.
Yeah, she's holding that left arm a little bit. I think they're going to get a runner in for her anyhow. Looks like number 23 out of the dugout. That would be Tegan Baker, the freshman. She's scored 16 runs on the season. She hasn't had too many plate appearances, but 2 for 3.
Yeah, as Marsh goes running across, she's not even swinging that left arm.
No, holding it in tight. Hopefully she's okay.
Tegan Baker, a freshman, also pitches for a little bit for this Vikings team. Great field hockey player as well. Lefty slapper Eden Frederick in the box now. She grounds it to Weisenberger, who chooses to throw to first.
Thought she might have had time to get the force at second, but nevertheless, they needed it out. They got it. There's 2 outs now.
Well, and you also got to understand these defenders are in some different positions that they haven't been practicing in very long. So, safe choice, taking out where you can get it right now. You're playing for outs right now, not necessarily for the runners. Behind 6-1 right now. Sometimes you have to choose what's more important. They need outs. Brings Jordan Bowe to the plate. Walked her last at-bat, popped up to second base in her first at-bat. Ball 1 to her. Big swing from Bowe there. She swings through that. And Glenn, I just think the shame of it is that Dennis comes out, she starts out really well, and she's able to paint the corners and jam them up, and she either gets fatigued or loses the spin on the pitch. I'm not sure which, but she puts pitches across the zone where these hitters can hit, and that's what does the damage.
Nice stop by Lloyd, the catcher there.
It's in low.
Yeah, prevented the runner from moving up to third.
So that's just something she has to learn. At one point, I think I started to say that, these kids pitch in travel ball, but they are pitching, 90-minute drop-dead rules where they may only play 4 innings. They play for 90 minutes, they only play 4 innings. They have to learn how to come to high school and pitch for 7 innings. Sometimes that's a 2-hour, 2.5-hour game. As Bowe gets a hold of that and fouls that out of play down the right field line. So it's something that they have to grow into and mature into. They're not just playing 90 minutes anymore. And they have to learn how to get through that and have the stamina to pitch through these whole high school games. And sometimes it takes them 2 or 3 years to mature into that. 2-2 count here to Bowe, 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th, Vikings lead 6-1. Tegan Baker stands at second base. Bowe fouls that back.
Smyrna will finish by hosting Caesar Rodney. They have to go to Apo, and they host Red Lion. That's their 3 regular season games left as they're trying to get to the tournament.
That's a dead ball as she fouls that off of her own foot. Having a good at bat here. That's 6 pitches she has seen so far. And that's a hard ground ball that Donovan just can't come up with. She went down to her knees, just bounced away from her, so that advances Tegan Baker to third base and puts Bo on first. That'll bring left fielder Bree Windish to the plate, who has popped up to the second baseman and struck out in her 2 at-bats.
Nice stop by Donovan. She saved a run there.
Absolutely. If that ball goes to the outfield, Baker's easily scoring.
Let's see what they do first and third this time. I would think they don't throw down.
Windish sends one, and it bounces off the glove of Paxton Dixon out and right. Not only does Baker score, Bo scores, and Windish is safe into third.
That just blew it open. And we said before the game, with a wind, it's going to be an adventure, anything in the air, in the outfield. And both outfields, defensively, they've tried to do their job and fight this wind and judge where the balls are going.
And we're starting to see the Smyrna defense just make mistakes. It's tipping off their gloves. They're just not getting to it. That is strike 1 to Melina Bueller. All intents and purposes, that inning should have been over, right? Donovan struggles with that. Dixon struggles with that. Tips off her glove, so. Eight 8-1 now score in favor of the Vikings. 1-1 count to Bueller. And that's just kind of how Cape keeps winning, right? Even the games they've been behind, they just stay in it. They keep playing, and they just run you down and run you down and run you down until they win. Pitches in high for ball number 2. Got a 2-1 count to Bueller. Two down here. Smyrna's got to figure out how to get this third out, get out of this inning, get themselves back up to the plate. She swings away at that, but just kind of nubs it there where Dennis can field it and throws to first. So 4 runs, scored here in the 5th by the Vikings for their insurance run as they spread the lead 8-1 over the Eagles. We will be back with the top of the 6th.
Looking to stay cool this summer?
At Barclay Heating and Air, we're dedicated to keeping your home comfortable year-round.
Family owned and operated, we provide trusted residential heating and cooling services to customers across central Delaware. Our experienced technicians offer reliable maintenance and repairs on all major brand HVAC systems. From air conditioners and ductless systems to heat pumps and furnaces, we also sell and install top quality units. No matter your needs, we're committed to getting the job done right with honest and timely service you can count on. Invested in our community, we're proud to help families in more ways than one, sponsoring and donating to many local programs and organizations throughout the area for dependable HVAC services. Give us a shout or a bark at Barclay Heating and Air.
Welcome back here to Bill Cordry Field at Cape Henlopen High School. The Vikings have spread the score out a little bit here in that last inning. It is now 8-1 as the Eagles come to bat this inning, and we will see their 3, 4, and 5 hitters as they try to gain some traction here and maybe get a couple runs back if they are going to stick this thing out. Again, the Vikings just kind of hang around, Glenn, and they wear you down and keep scoring runs along the way. So Kind of been what we've been seeing from them. Even if they fall behind in a game, they just continue to play ball, and you know, they come out with these wins. So we're seeing it here again today.
Yep, they're
And
not undefeated for no reason.
No,
that's
and,
for sure.
And the long ball's been the call of the day. So, you know, Calciano hits a 2-run home run. Here's hits a 2-run home run. So power's been the name of the game.
Oh, what a catch.
And right fielder Eden Frederick comes up with that on a diving catch and saves a base hit from Simone Edge.
Throwing some leather out there.
1 out. That'll bring Savannah Arnold to the plate. Edge had herself a home run in the last inning. Looks like Coach Tack's going to come out and check on Frederick after that diving catch, just to make sure she's okay. Tough on the shoulder sometimes when you lay out like that and hit the ground hard. Seems like she's okay, so.
Coach Tack showing some speed here. We got him, we're tracking him.
You wait till I text him and email him tomorrow.
Oh, by the way, in that win for Appo over Caravel, Ayla McCatherine throws a one-hitter in that game to get the win.
Listen, she's no joke in the circle. That girl can throw.
And Del Mar now leading 7-1 over Indian River. They're in the 6th inning of that game.
Little flare blooper that Bueller lays out for, just can't keep a handle on it. We can't see from our vantage point. I don't know if she had it and it popped out when she hit the ground, or she never got to it. Can't tell from my vantage point.
Yeah, it was kind of away from us. Good effort.
Yeah, great effort either way. Arnold's on first.
It's a very well-balanced team, Cape Henlopen. You can see it here with their defense. Great efforts here in the top half of the 6th inning.
It's going to bring Addison Weisenberger to the plate, shortstop for Smyrna, who has struck out and reached on an error so far today. She bunted it, but it popped up and hit her bat twice, so that's going to be a dead ball. Runner will have to retreat to first. So we'll rewind that and try again.
That's a penalty in golf. I should know, I've done that out of a trap.
It's one sport I do not play.
It plays you.
Pitch is high from Marsh, again expecting a bunt. Smart move to keep that ball up in the zone. They're hard to bunt. Savannah Arnold stands over there at first. Pitch to Weisenberger.
Good stop.
She just nubs it and Bo goes to her knees, but can't make the throw. So advances Arnold to second, Weisenberger at first.
Good defense this inning by Cape, but
2 hits back-to-back for Smyrna. They've been struggling to put hits up, so 2 for them back-to-back, 1 out here, top of the 6th.
yeah, oddly enough, you look up at the scoreboard, 5 hits for Cape, 4 for Smyrna, but 8 runs for Cape.
Brings Lacey Donovan to the plate. Nice bunt by Donovan as she lays that down.
Good play by Hears. They got the out at first.
And they get the out as Bueller covers first. So there's 2 down now. Runners at second and third for the Eagles.
Nina Marcano wants to talk to the base umpire.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that throw didn't pull her off the bag. I was trying to wait and see the umpire's call.
And it's always tough for the base umpire to make that call all the way in deep short.
Agreed.
That's why when we get into state tournament time, we have more umpires.
And it's tough because he's in the position he's supposed to be in, but on a play like that, you really need someone looking closer at that foot pulling off the bag. and whether or not he'll ask for help. And the vantage point really is better from the home plate umpire standpoint, looking down the first base line, but it is tough to get them to ask for help and get that call, because it really truly is a field umpire's call. And it looks like she is convincing enough to get them to get together and have a conversation about that.
Yeah, so she double-checked with her first base coach and
Who
got
is-
her opinion. You know, hey, did she pull off the bag?
Correct.
Excuse me.
And
Safe.
they overturn that, and the runner is safe at first, which means that throw did pull her off the bag. So now,
Second time today that Coach Marcano looks like a genius.
base is loaded. Well, there's times to go out and argue, and there's times not to go out there and argue, so you better be sure when you go out. All right, so we got bases loaded here. 1 out for Lex Dennis. Good time for her to help herself out. She hits a ball foul down the third base line.
We had a good look at that one. I have to laugh now when we talk about a foul ball, Shannon. You and I did a Goldie Beacom game earlier this year. A home run was hit fair by 5 feet.
At least.
And the home plate umpire called it foul.
And they have reviewable plays, and they can't argue fair and foul.
One of the worst calls I've ever seen in a game.
Agreed.
As he's looking right down the left field line.
We got a 1-1 count now to Dennis. Bases are loaded here, 1 out. She fouls off a high pitch from Marsh. 1-2 count to Dennis. Kate Slaney on deck. Dennis could put something in play. And she swings in another high pitch, and she goes down on 4 pitches for a strikeout. That's out number 2. That is Marsh's 6th strikeout of the day. That'll bring Kate Slaney, center fielder for Smyrna, to the plate for ball 1. I mean, they've got the opportunity right here to get some runs back.
Sure do. Got to put something in play, though.
Slaney has struck out and popped up to the second baseman as Hears throws down to third.
Now there's a play. I think the base umpire is calling this out. I clearly saw the ball on the ground.
But Bo had the ball pop out.
And
I think he made the initial call before he saw the ball pop out. So this is going to get overturned.
Yeah.
He was just quick on the draw, so to speak.
Yeah.
So that gets overturned. We have a 1-1 count to Slaney. Bases still juiced. 2 outs. And they just can't seem to lay off that rise ball coming in from Marsh.
I think Coach Marcano is telling her third base runner, look, we got to make something happen here. So get a good lead, force a throw down here, and maybe they'll throw it away.
Not a bad idea.
No.
In the dirt, but doesn't get very far.
No.
Here's quick to jump up. Just kind of squirted through her legs, but stayed put. 2-2 count now to Slaney. Oh for 2 is Slaney so far today. She's got to make something happen here if the Eagles are going to stand a chance to come back into this. And there's a ground ball to second baseman. Bueller to Hudson. So the Eagles can't produce here, and the Vikings get out of a tough situation. Still 8-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Welcome back to Cape Henlopen High School here, Bill Cordry Field, as we have the Cape Vikings leading the Smyrna Eagles 8-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. And we will start with Abby Crouch, the designated player today for the Vikings. And I think we may have a pinch hitter coming in. Just heard the field announcer.
Yeah.
And I think he said number 11. So that is Olivia Longo going to hit for Abby Crouch.
She's seen a lot of PT this year. She played a lot of outfield for Coach Tack.
So Lex Dennis still in the circle for the Eagles. Longo sends one over to Donovan at second. She makes quick work of that for out number 1. And then we will roll to the top of the order with Calciano, who's walked twice today and had a 2-run home run, 2 RBIs, a couple of stolen bases on the day. Always a threat to run when she's on. She's got good speed.
Does it again. Bye-bye.
And that ball hits off the very top of the scoreboard and bounces back in, but that is going to be her 2nd home run of the day. 3 RBIs, 2 homers for Calciano today.
Making her case to be our player of the game.
Well, she certainly has Lex Dennis's number today.
She's really gotten into both of those.
Number 15, the catcher for Cape, Olivia Hears to the plate, who has a home run of her own in the 5th inning. She's 1 for 3 today. Hers went out of right center field. Ball high and out. And I am surprised we're still seeing Dennis in the circle. They do have a couple other kids who can throw for Smyrna, but they are sticking with the sophomore. Here's rips a ball up the middle, out into center. Slaney comes up. So a single right back up the middle for Olivia Hears.
Her 2nd hit of the game.
Going to bring Hayden Hudson to the plate. She's 0 for 3 today. Flied out to center twice and a strikeout victim in the 3rd.
And they've gone final. It's Delmar with a win over Indian River today by a count of 10-1. So the Wildcats, we have ranked 7th in our top 10 poll, now 11-4 on the season. Rickards gets the win.
Yeah, and I can't say enough about how well she's throwing this year. I was really impressed at the game they had up at Caravel. Got a pinch runner for Hears. Can't see who that is at the moment. We get a number, we'll let you know. Number 5, getting that from my producer. Looks like Lily File, senior. So File in as a pinch runner for Hears after she drove a nice single up the middle. Ooh. Hudson drives the shot out to right field. Dixon up with it. And File heading to 3rd. She's in, ball skips away, so Hudson will advance to 2nd on the throw.
Nice level swing she has, Hudson.
Hudson with a single, advancing on the throw to 3rd. And Cape just keeps the pedal to the metal here.
Yeah. Where's Hudson, a good 3-sport athlete down here at Cape, basketball player. for the Lady Vikings.
And last we heard, she has not selected where she'll go to college yet. I think she's got it narrowed down to George Washington, Lehigh, and Catholic University, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Don't quote me totally on those. I'm pulling that from memory, but I think that's the last three that TAC said she was looking at.
So, do we have a change for Smyrna in the circle? Is that Roscoe now? No, Lexi's still out there.
Yeah, just see Coach talking to Casey Lloyd and Dennis, and I think she's sticking with her, just saying, hey, you got to pitch your way out of this mess.
Okay.
So Cape leads 9-1 at the moment. The Calciano home run extended that lead. You got number 5, senior Lily File, standing at third as the courtesy runner rather, for Hears. And you got Hayden Hudson standing at second after her single. You got Abby Marsh now at the plate. And Donovan at second. They send it home for the out. So File is out at home. Smart play by Donovan.
Yeah, great throw by Donovan. She had a lot on that one.
So that is the second out of the inning. And Marsh will be on with a fielder's choice. We're going to get a runner for her as well. I would assume it's Baker again as the courtesy runner for the pitcher, as Hudson stands at third.
Looks like that elbow is just fine for Abby Marsh.
Looks like it.
Hit, right?
Looks like it.
That would have been a huge injury for this team.
Absolutely. Yeah, they can't afford to have Abby Marsh go down right now. Eden Frederick steps up. She's 0 for 2 technically today with a sacrifice in the fourth. And I'm sure Cape will send the runner. Got 2 outs here.
They didn't.
They did not. Goes to show you what I know.
Well, I would have thought so too.
He's going to call that a strike. He said she did not pull back in time. So Frederick quickly in the hole, 0-2. Got 2 down here, bottom of the 6th. Things are ahead, 9-1. Diving play.
Life, some things just go together. Like a burger and fries. And home and auto insurance from State Farm. So make it a combo. Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Just call State Farm agent Juwan Johnson and find out how you could start saving today. It's just another way we're here to help life go right.
Looking to stay cool this summer?
At Barclay Heating and Air, we're dedicated to keeping your home comfortable year-round.
Family owned and operated, we provide trusted residential heating and cooling services to customers across central Delaware. Our experienced technicians offer reliable maintenance and repairs on all major brand HVAC systems. From air conditioners and ductless systems to heat pumps and furnaces, we also sell and install top quality units. No matter your needs, we're committed to getting the job done right with honest and timely service you can count on. Invested in our community, we're proud to help families in more ways than one, sponsoring and donating to many local programs and organizations throughout the area for dependable HVAC services. Give us a shout or a bark at Barclay Heating and Air.
Congratulations, Dover Federal, on 60 years in business in Delaware.
You've been by our side since our doors opened.
Thank you so much for giving me a call on so many years ago when I had no credit.
You helped our business grow into what it is today.
As a military family, thank you for supporting the financial needs of servicemen and their loved ones.
Happy anniversary, Dover Federal Credit Union.
Happy anniversary, Dover Federal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Local people, local decisions, Dover Federal Credit Union.
I would always pass by Ferris on Kirkwood Highway, so I knew that they existed. We stopped in the showroom. We just clicked, like from day one. They did a total kitchen renovation for us. Ferris was so organized. They were on top of everything from day one. Always here when they said they would be, always on time, kept to the schedule. The level of comfort speaking to everyone that works at Ferris, they were just super friendly, easy to talk to. It was like they were friends, not, people coming to work on our kitchen. The room is totally transformed from what it used to look like. To have all this seating now and the big table, the bench seats, it's great. I love coming home and just walking through the laundry room into the kitchen every day. It was just a great experience. We love Ferris.
Welcome to Surf Bagel.
Surf Bagel has served the community in Delaware for over 20 years, providing fresh, hot bagels, breakfast sandwiches, lunch sandwiches, wraps, salads, local coffee and smoothies, and our iconic merch. Welcome to Surf Bagel. We're stoked to serve you.
Welcome to Surf Bagel.
In life, some things just go together, like a burger and fries. And home and auto insurance from State Farm. So make it a combo. Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Just call State Farm agent Juwan Johnson and find out how you could start saving today. It's just another way we're here to help life go right.
Looking to stay cool this summer?
At Barclay Heating and Air, we're dedicated to keeping your home comfortable year-round.
Family owned and operated, we provide trusted residential heating and cooling services to customers across central Delaware. Our experienced technicians offer reliable maintenance and repairs on all major brand HVAC systems. From air conditioners and ductless systems to heat pumps and furnaces, we also sell and install top quality units. No matter your needs, we're committed to getting the job done right with honest and timely service you can count on. Invested in our community, we're proud to help families in more ways than one, sponsoring and donating to many local programs and organizations throughout the area for dependable HVAC services. Give us a shout or a bark at Barclay Heating and Air.
Congratulations, Dover Federal, on 60 years in business in Delaware.
You've been by our side since our doors opened.
Thank you so much for giving me a call on so many years ago when I had no credit.
You helped our business grow into what it is today.
As a military family, thank you for supporting the financial needs of servicemen and their loved ones.
Happy anniversary, Dover Federal Credit Union.
Happy anniversary, Dover Federal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Local people, local decisions, Dover Federal Credit Union.
I would always pass by Ferris on Kirkwood Highway, so I knew that they existed. We stopped in the showroom. We just clicked, like from day one. They did a total kitchen renovation for us. Ferris was so organized. They were on top of everything from day one. Always here when they said they would be, always on time, kept to the schedule. The level of comfort speaking to everyone that works at Ferris, they were just super friendly, easy to talk to. It was like they were friends, not, people coming to work.
Glenn, you have anything to add?
That's what I was going to say to you. How much time did it take for you to come down off of that high, hitting that walk-off home run Saturday to beat Caryville to get ready for this game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really thinking about that the next at bat. I'm just focused on getting on base, really, doing something for my team.
Well, congratulations, Ava. You're our 302 player of the game today. Your team stays undefeated with another win, another Henlopen win against the Smyrna Eagles. And we look forward to what you do next. Congratulations. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Once again, the final score, Cape 10-2. We want to thank both coaches, Mike Tack and all his staff here at Cape, for giving us stats. Also, the same goes for head coach Nina Marcano of Smyrna High. Thanks to her and her staff. Also want to thank Athletic Director Kevin Smith here and the staff at Cape Henlopen. For Shannon Timmons and Benny Mitchell, I'm Glenn Fraser. Once again, that final, Cape 10-2 over Smyrna. Thanks for watching this live stream on 302 Sports. This has been a Benny Mitchell production.